Hello, welcome to the Modern Musclehead Podcast. This is Scott Tousignant of MetabolicMasterpiece.com, along with Bryan Krahn of BryanKrahn.com. Today
Bam!
I love it. So there's the start. We're already getting the dancing. We had the Quam dance the last time. Now we go bam. That's awesome. Today we're going to be we're planning on 5 tips to help you stick to your diet. We're probably going to be throwing in some bonus tips in there as well. So that's the theme of our show for the day, helping you stick to your diet. I've been myself 3 weeks into an 8-week cutting phase. Learned a lot through this journey. Each time you go through a cutting phase, you learn something new about yourself, and definitely been really consistent during the past 2 weeks. The first week I was awesome during the week, slipped up on the weekend a bit. So we're going to get into that, but I'd say the number one thing that has been helping me stick to my diet plan right now is eating a lot of the same foods each and every day. You agree with that, Bryan?
I'm a big believer in just getting in a pattern, getting in a routine, and then worrying about stuff like variety, like a little further down the road. Like you have to keep things as simple as possible before you take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So, you can always bring in more food variety as you get comfortable in the eating style. So, there's nothing wrong with eating the same foods every day, for a week or two, or even an extended period. I mean, it's not like you're going to catch some crazy ailment and fucking get scurvy or rickets or something and fall over and die. You're going to be fine. So, yeah.
I agree. It's I'm even whether I'm cutting or building, as we mentioned in the past, we still eat a lot of the same foods. I still love my 8 egg whites, an extra large egg, and veggies for breakfast every day. I love having oatmeal, berries, and a scoop of protein powder. I love having Greek yogurt and berries, and there's a few staples. And dinner, I mean, the chicken, the fish, rice, potato. I have potatoes just about every freaking day. I love them. So I certainly have staple foods and staple meals that I eat each and every day. It definitely makes it a lot easier for me, especially having those 3 same meals every single day. It takes all the thinking out of it. It makes it mindless, just mindless, and I freaking love those meals. So it's a bonus as well. Yesterday was like the first day. I can't remember how long ago it's been. I didn't have eggs, and it was killing me at the end of the day. Like, I didn't have everything that I needed earlier in the day. I'm like, okay, I'll have my eggs later on, and I'll have it either before dinner or after dinner. And I love eggs, man. I freaking love eggs. So it was tough, and then at dinner time, I ended up grabbing a second serving of dinner instead of having eggs, and yeah, I'm telling you, egg withdrawal. So I was happy to have them this morning. I look forward to those meals, and like I said, mindless. And what I really noticed when I had that slip up my first weekend in this cutting phase is because I allowed myself too much freedom on that weekend. I didn't eat the same foods. I started adding too much variety in there, and I just went completely off the rails there. So the past 2 weekends now, it's been spot on, eating those 3 same meals, but just get my variety in at dinner time and maybe a snack here and there.
Yeah, and I firmly believe too, if you're trying to gain weight or just kind of more of a whatever maintenance plan, yeah, certainly you can factor in more variety and just be like more open minded and not stress about it. But I really think when you're trying to cut or you're trying to establish a pattern of consistency, like having the same meals every day, prepared the same way, it accelerates the process, I find.
Without a doubt. Now, we've talked in the past, tracking. Tracking is always important. I love to track calories and have caloric targets. One of the things that has worked really well for me is not only having my daily target to aim for, but I tend to look at things on a weekly basis. It makes it a lot easier for me because there's some days where I'm not as hungry as others, and other days my appetite's a little bit bigger. A lot of it depends on my activities for the day, the workout. I do find like leg day and back day, my appetite's a little bit higher. On a shoulder day, my appetite is lower. So the shoulder day, I don't feel like I want as much food, or if an off day I feel like I don't want as much food. So I kind of look at my total calories for the week and
Yeah.
just allow it to kind of balance out for there.
Yeah, like that's probably one of the most mentally freeing quote unquote hacks that you can invoke is to look at calories for the week as opposed to every single day. And I have this discussion with my clients all the time. They're like, "Oh, what if I overeat on one day?" And I'm like, "Well, then just undereat the next day, and just keep a running tab like that."
Yeah.
And it works just beautifully well, and it's just so much easier.
Yeah, it gets you out of that mindset.
Uh,
If you do slip up, it's not the end of the world. You can eat a
yeah,
little less tomorrow and balance
yeah,
things out.
yeah, exactly. Or if you have just a day where you're just unreasonably hungry,
Yeah.
which can happen, just have another meal, take it off on the next day or the day after, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I even like right now I'm trying to eat 90 to 95% of my calories from like natural nutrient rich foods, and I give 5 to 10% to treats, whatever the heck I want. Otherwise, I consider some of
yeah,
my meals a treat. So
yeah,
again, what?
like eggs, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We're gonna look forward to that. So I have 700 to 1400 calories a week to have to a lot to treat. And
Yeah,
yesterday I didn't feel like having anything, so those calories carried over for my weekly
yeah,
total. I can have a bigger treat another day, and just if I'm not, that's some people get wrapped up in if they're on the daily calorie tracking every single thing daily, and they're trying to hit the exact same number of their calories, exact same number from treats. It can, I don't know, it just gets to be, I think, too rigid. I think you got to give
yeah.
yourself a little bit of wiggle room there, and yeah, I think focusing on the weekly basis is definitely, obviously, something that's worked for both of us here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, pro,
Protein.
yeah,
What are your
protein. Well, I'm a big believer in higher protein. I just think most people, not so much bodybuilders. Bodybuilders probably tend to eat too much protein, I find.
Yeah.
But just guys, and especially women, who are just getting into this and they're not really cognizant of what they eat, they never eat enough protein. And the thing I like the most about protein isn't the fact that it's whatever, anabolic or whatever, but it's just the fact that it's so satiating. Like, and
Yes.
it just, so when you get people to eat, especially more like lay people who are kind of new to this, you get them to eat more protein more frequently. All of a sudden, they're less hungry, they binge less, they have more energy, and and they get better results.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, without a doubt. I think right around that, like 1.2 grams per pound body
yeah,
weight seems to be pretty darn good. And yeah,
yeah,
it's always interesting to see that. That's probably best during a cut. And then when you're in a
yeah,
building phase, maybe you don't need quite that much. Maybe you're fine in a building phase with 1 gram per pound of body weight. But definitely for the satisfying feeling, it's a lot more filling when you have good quality protein in you there.
for sure, for
And
sure.
I definitely, and from whole food sources, that's the one thing I've done during this cut is reduce the amount of protein powder that I consume.
Yeah,
When I'm in a building phase, I may do a few scoops of protein powder throughout the day, at least two. Whereas
hmm,
now I cut it down to one because I mean, those calories would be a hell of a lot more satisfying
yeah,
if they were coming from a chicken breast or a slice of salmon,
yeah,
or anything else, a nice juicy steak. It's
yeah,
much better off getting whole foods during a cutting
yeah.
phase.
Yeah, whole food just works better. I mean, having said that, I still have at least one shake a day.
Yeah.
But I'm also very finicky about the brands I use because the industry is such a shit show and there's absolutely no integrity in it and nobody's checking and nobody's policing it. So you're getting proteins on the market that are, if you're familiar with amino acid spiking,
Mm-hmm.
they're bumping up the protein quotient by adding like cheap aminos like taurine and glutamine, and even creatine, which also helps you gain, it makes you gain a little bit of weight. So you're like, holy Christ, I'm growing on this protein. Um, so yeah, it's just an awful industry. So if you are going, I always tell guys like, don't have a bunch of shakes. Maybe have one a day, but spend the money and get a good one. Don't get the cheapest one at Costco because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I am down to the one a day. I like having the one a
Yeah.
day. I don't have it in a shake. I just throw it into my oats, and that
Yeah.
works for me. It's good flavoring for that. And when I'm doing two a day during a build, I throw it into my Greek yogurt. Not too often do I have a shake anymore. I just add it
Yeah.
to some of my meals, and that works for me.
Yeah. Agreed.
And the other thing, just food volume. So talking about the satiety of protein and getting it from real foods. I'm always looking for ways to add, uh, for the same amount of calories, try to make the biggest food volume possible to really fill myself up. So egg whites, I mean, it's like every time I post, not every time, but very often I'll post my egg whites, my scrambled egg whites on Facebook or Instagram. And there's always some clown. Why do you get rid of the whole eggs? Like that's where all the nutrients are.
The nutrients, Eagle Powers, the nutrients.
It's just not. I use carton egg whites, so I'm not like sitting there cracking eggs and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
so I'll use the carton egg whites and then I crack a whole extra large egg and put it in there. It's volume. Like you get a hell of a lot more volume of food from 8 egg whites, which would be 120 calories. That's not even 2 large eggs. If you were to have two large eggs, that's 140 calories compared to 8 egg whites, that's 120 calories. Just the
Yeah.
volume you
Yeah.
get is just completely different. So I still love my whole eggs. That's why I include one in there.
Oh, yeah.
But getting that food volume is really important to me, and it also keeps the protein. I get my protein up
Yeah.
there as well, so it helps there. And veggies. I mean, veggies are huge for me. I have them with my eggs as well. When I was out last weekend, Friday night to darts, Bryan knows all about our fun dart nights. I brought a veggie tray, and we've done it before. Seriously, dude, I know he's seen it. It's usually a mess, like chips and beer. But I didn't feel bad because we've brought veggie trays before. I'm not the first one to bring a veggie tray to dart night, man.
Brought a veggie tray to darts?
Dude, it was a hit. It was a hit. And that's it. My brother-in-law is trying to lose weight. Rick's in a cutting phase right now. So there's a few of us that are we're a little conscious of our food intake right now. My brother-in-law lost 4.5 pounds last week. He's a big dude. And
darts?
all from darts. He swears it was all from the veggies there. But it blew me away, like how much veggies I ate. That's the most veggies I've ever eaten in my life. And the next day, I mean, I was still feeling full from the veggies. But there's the more veggies you can get, the food volume is just ridiculous. It can be very satisfying.
Yeah, no, agreed. Veggies are your friend, man. I mean, it's that's actually one of the things I have to work on because when I diet, I eat a lot of vegetables. I drink a lot of water. I do a lot of really sound practices that that make you look better and feel better and perform better. But I find when I'm not cognizant of, if I'm just like in a gaining phase or I'm just kind of chilling out, my veggies go right down. And and I'm supposed to be into this stuff. So I find that you have to make a point of including them. I tell clients like 2 to 3 meals a day, a serving of veggies. But more is always better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're playing darts.
Yeah, especially there.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with me is like with dart, between throws, I'm always grabbing for something. Always grabbing chips or having a drink. So yeah, I was veggie sticking it, man. It was freaking awesome. It was a hit. I'm telling you. It's a new thing. All right, so one of the other things that I was thinking about for this topic is there's bound to be slip ups, and we all have it. And the issue happens when you start to realize, all right, you're overindulging a bit, and there's that you got the angel and the devil in your head, and a lot of times the devil is telling you, just screw it, throw in the towel, and you've already slipped up. Go balls out, man. Just go nuts and just eat everything in sight. Yeah. And oftentimes that's what happens, and that's what really sets you back when you can get to that point where you are overindulging and you're like, you catch yourself. Yeah, I'm a little bit off track, but if you stop yourself in that moment, you've overeaten. So what? It's not going to be that bad to make up for throughout the week. It's when you say, screw it, to hell with it, I'm just going to pig out, that you're going to have a lot more difficult time overcoming that obstacle.
Yeah, all or nothing is a really, really big problem, I find. It's probably And what's kind of pervasive about it is that it gets even with like experienced fitness pros will kind of buy into this, and like they'll diet well for 4 days or 5 days or whatever, and then they'll have one slip up, and then they'll be like, oh, fuck it, I'll just call this day a refeed, and they have all these, especially as you get a little more knowledgeable in this stuff, you have all these ways you can rationalize poor decisions.
Yeah.
Like oh, I can eat this. I gotta refill my glycogen, or I gotta spike my insulin, or I gotta,
leptin.
right, my
Oh,
leptin. Yeah, it's
oh
fucking
my god.
leptin. That's all. Yeah, yeah. So it's like all this bullshit that people use to kind of make themselves feel better for eating what they want to eat.
Yeah.
So, but and again, like I'll do it too. Like if I'm, on a big holiday meal, like I'm not gonna hold back.
Right.
So it's
once in a while it's okay. Once in a
oh
while,
yeah,
but planning it once every 5 to 7 days, I think it's ridiculous. I followed a plan that was along that same lines, and it was supposed to be, I think, a 5 week plan, and every fifth day you eat it, and you're encouraged to just eat everything. Like if you're just don't stop, just keep eating. It's going to be the best thing for you. Of course, there was a fast the next day because you felt like shit and didn't want to eat anymore, which I think sparks bad habits in and of itself. But it never worked. Like, for the first 2 weeks, I'd be like doing really good for the first 4 days, and then that pig out where you're just eating everything inside. And I found you just always trying to make up for it afterwards, and it made progress slow, and I just felt it created bad habits for me, and I didn't enjoy it as much. So I just kept things a lot more under control. A controlled refeed is a lot better.
Yeah, like I just tell people, like, typically you're gonna have a cheat meal. Like, something's gonna come up. Whether it's a family obligation, or where somebody goes out of their way and cooks you something really really nice.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have cheat meals. You're gonna have places where you slip up, or first of all, I wouldn't see them as slip ups. I'd see them as just as opportunities to eat more good food, which is not a bad thing. And then just whatever, you just move on. If it was a big kind of gluttonous fit, you really stuffed yourself, maybe the next day or two, eat that much better. Maybe eat a little bit less, and limit that to maybe once a week. I mean, you can make this shit work for you if you just get rid of all the rules and all the dogma. I mean, it's like, find a system, like just make it work for you into your lifestyle. Then you can do it forever, and it's like stress free.
Yeah, that's key. That's definitely key because even like timing of everything. Some people find that they slip up more in the evening, so they'll save more of their calories for the evening time. And if that suits you, you gotta learn from your experiences.
Yeah.
Whatever suits you. If skipping breakfast suits you, then go for it. Don't do it if it's not natural. Just go with what works for you, and don't get caught up in what others are doing so much.
And that's the thing. And I mean, I remember some of my old bodybuilding friends. I mean, they would have their they'd have cheat days, like full days, and they'd be so training, like so depleted and training so hard and eating next to nothing all week. And then this cheat day would come. I remember a friend of mine, he'd get up at 4:00 in the morning, and he would just start eating. Like he'd have all his donuts there and boxes of cereal. And I don't know how he didn't have a stroke by 10 a.m., but he'd just spend the whole day eating. And so, and not surprisingly, like I feel it held his progress back a little bit. But at the end of the day, that's just not a healthy practice.
Yeah, I agree. Just other little tips to finish off, I guess. Things for me, like controlling appetite is a challenge for some people. I find, actually, it's a conversation I was having with someone last night. Sleep, like lack of sleep for me, when I don't get as much sleep as I should be, my appetite increases. So my appetite always increases if I don't get enough sleep, especially a couple days in a row. It'll jack up, or if I'm not drinking enough water. So I'm always, the thing is, I got to be consistent right out of the gates in the morning. Start drinking my water right away, and keep it up throughout the day. If I wait till I'm like really hungry, if I drink water on an empty stomach, it's a little bit different throughout the day. It doesn't satisfy me as much, but if I'm drinking water consistently throughout the day, it definitely helps me control my appetite more.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, have they decided that was bullshit? That claim that when you're really hungry, it might actually be that you're thirsty and your body's mixing up the signals.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a myth or not. All I know is
sounds like bullshit.
It sounds like bullshit, but I definitely the more hydrated I am, the better. Yeah. That's for sure. I think when you start adding in the veggies and the water and everything, it helps everything kind of expand in your stomach and everything too. I just feel more satisfied all around.
Yeah, like I do find when I'm drinking a lot of water consistently, like when I'm cutting, I even feel my eyes feel better. I don't know, maybe it's just you're just more hydrated, but it's a totally a great habit to get into.
Everything feels better, no doubt. Energy and function, everything functions and feels better the more hydrated I am.
Right on.
All right, man.
Look at all these tips, man.
Just tons. We exceeded 5 for sure, but
there's like 7, maybe like 8.
Maybe. Lots of tips, but and there's lots more out there, but those are the main ones that definitely helping me right now through this cutting phase, and they've helped me in the past. So learn from some of our experiences. If you have other tips that have helped you, some people like little things like chewing gum, or they have certain favorite snacks that can kind of curb some of their cravings at night if they really need to eat something. I don't know, shoot them our way. We'd love to hear from you. Again, you enjoy the show, give us a like here.
Rate us, man.
Review us, whatever the heck, on everywhere we are on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, everywhere we are. We'd love to hear from you anyway. And especially in regards to these tips, let us know what some of your tips are to help you stick with your diet. Catch you next time. Bang. It's like you got a whip.
That's right, man.